Hello and welcome to my live. Greetings to you all wherever you may be around the world, and welcome to this sacred circle of love and understanding. This evening, I am here to talk a little bit about 5D. What is it like to be at 5D? What are the signs and what are the symbols? So I thought I would come live just to give a little bit of talk about 5D and what the current energies are at this time. So, what is it like to be at 5D? 5D, first and foremost, what is 5D? It is a dimensional frequency. So we are shifting beyond third, fourth dimension. Often or not, we do connect through the fourth dimension, which is the astral plane, and then into 5D, which is more crystalline. So the crystalline consciousness. So basically, the 5D consciousness is very much focused around the heart center, but there's a lot of signs around the 5D, signs that will give us that clue of what it is like to be at 5D. So, what is it like? So, first and foremost, I've shared a series of posts back in 2016 to actually okay. Can you hear me? Sarah's just saying I can't hear you. Can anybody hear me? First and foremost, I'm just doing a sound check. Sarah says she can't. Sarah says she can't hear me. So doing a sound check. So if you can hear me, can you just say that you can hear me, please? So I'm just doing a sound check. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mia, for confirming. So it's not me. Okay. Right. So what is it like to be at 5D? 5D is a space of love, very crystalline space of love. There are many signs and signs of being at 5D. And often or not, we find ourselves on a journey and a process of going into 5D as well. Many of us have awakening stages. Many of us are experiencing spirit. Many of us have experienced spirit for a long, long time, and then we become more aware and more activated because spirit are pushing our boundaries and want us to explore more further afield. So even the connection with the spirit world, we are, we're transcending our energy and frequency, and we're growing with them as well. We're evolving with spirit. So there's a lot of faculties of being 5D. 2016, I shared a post saying that we, as the planet has shifted into the photon belt, and it's going to be in the photon belt for 2,000 years, and this is enabling the planet to ascend and to shift, but also enabling humanity to evolve consciousness in many areas. Now, consciousness is can be developed in a variety of areas, where it be from a 3D level. People can have a high frequency, what you call a high intelligence, from a third dimensional level, but also consciousness, because consciousness is basically around the mind, but does it mean to take you even higher? Um, so basically, it's about connecting more into the subconscious and the superconscious um, mind. So that's taking you beyond the mental state, the mind. So basically, we have to, um, we have to clear our minds in order to take us even further. So there's a lot of techniques. Certainly in mediumship, there is a way that we have to shift our ego. They say you shift your ego or you shift your consciousness and allow spirit to make the blend, allow spirit to come through and to deliver the message. So there's a lot of things, even from mediumship point of view, we are shifting ourselves to one side and allowing that blend to take place. So first and foremost, 5D is always a space of love. So we had a cosmic event. The Earth shifted into the photo belt for 2,000 years. It's caused a massive shift in consciousness for the whole entire humanity. So everyone on our planet is, and the inhabitants have the choice and free will. And I will always say the choice and free will, because it is the soul's desire to want to make that shift. The soul plan, the soul contract, the soul's desire to shift from 3D into 5D. And this is basically what it means, that the humanity has been invited to make that dimensional shift. And I'm going to say every single living soul, every single human has that right to shift. There is no one left out. This is what is happening in this now. So this shift is also tied in with the Aquarian age. And the Aquarian age is about bringing more of a harmonious world into place, bringing that harmony, that frequency into place. So basically, everything in 5D is built on trust, it's built on love, and it's built on surrender. And it's also realizing those aspects as we are entering trust and love, and we surrender to our highest self. So basically, our highest self, what is our higher self? Well, our higher self, for me, and from what I've experienced, is understanding who we are, understanding our whole essence, why we're here, what we're here to do. A lot of the past life information and ancestry information will come into being because we're expanding, we're growing. This is what happens when we get triggered at 5D. We become more aware of past life information. We then become aware of who we are. Certain areas that may need to be evolved, worked on, and stuff like that. So we become, it is our whole self. It is our journey. It's who we are. Because as souls, we have travelled through time and space. We've travelled in timeless realities. And I say timeless reality because spirit is a timeless reality. We have a time, life between lives and stuff like that. And we have also we also experience other realities as well. So for many of us, we will have experienced a reality that could be affiliated to another planet, star nation, galaxy, and so forth. So we would have had a previous incarnations. So many of us was like, oh, you know, my soul comes from the Pleiades, or my soul, you know, Sirius or Arcturus and stuff like that. So, you know, these are lifetimes and realities that we can, you know, we feel gravitated to, because that forms part of our Akashic history. So, you know, this is what's actually happening. So we become more aware of our affiliations as we are entering into that 5D. And we become aware it's not through researching outwardly. It comes to us, it comes to our soul, it comes to our essence. We could be shown realities. It could be done in altered state consciousness, you know, meditation, dream state and stuff like that. I'll say altered state. But altered state for me, I do a lot. Horace does the trance blend with me, and I can become aware of stuff when he does the blending as well as mediumship, meditation, you know, and being shown, you know, in dream state. So basically we have a variety of different ways. Regression is another one that we are shown, different realities that we, you know, sometimes what does it mean when we getting shown stuff? Does it mean that we need to heal? Does it mean, you know, something's coming in? It's always about the now, what we need to do in the now. So we could say, we could get a vision that we were in native lands and we were making medicine, i.e. crushing up herbs and stuff like that. But what does that mean in this now? It means that you need to unfold your healing abilities. You need to understand the medicine world at a far higher, greater sense of purpose. So, you know, these are different things that coming into play. Past life information, ancestral life, ancestral. So basically our DNA blueprint, it activates, our genetic activates, and our karma and our karmic wheel starts changing. The whole essence of our karma starts changing because we become more aware of the action and reaction. We become more aware that you know, karma has a greater role to play, but also we can use the karma to our own benefit, because we know, then become aware that karma is not a negative situation. It is a positive situation. We can then understand that by helping others, you know, helping others, whether it be in the community, through outreach, through love, compassion, and so forth, we are building up a good karmic pattern. We are building up a karmic pattern that's going to reach our highest good, our highest potential. And that also helps our evolution. So if whatever experiences that we've had in this life, or we become aware of past life experiences, and we put that into play now, and we say, well, you know, I want to do something, you know, in the area of healing or education, you know, educating the children, or, you know, making a you know, climate change, you know, in the areas of climate change and so forth. We then put those plans into action. We then can make a difference, and we're also learning and educating ourselves at the same time. So, so 5D, it is about evolving ourselves even further. So, as we are going into that 5D state, we become more aware of what is good for us, whether it be meditation, changing our diet. Changing our diet, I know as I have gone into higher frequencies, I used to like to have a glass of wine, and I can't drink alcohol anymore. It doesn't sit right with me. I try and may have a tipple at Christmas, but it doesn't sit right, if you understand what I'm saying. So your body starts rejecting some foods and drinks and habits and and stuff like that. When you're higher frequency, even I know people who used to smoke can't smoke anymore, because once they hit a frequency, it makes them unwell, it makes them ill. The body starts reacting. So basically, we then gravitate to certain foods. There is no law about what you can and can't eat, and I'm going to say that as long as you're on a balanced diet. I'm not here to tell you what you can and can't eat, but we then tend to gravitate to more high vibrational foods. So a lot of fruit and a lot of fresh vegetables and stuff like that. So we then gravitate, our diets tend to change, and our bodies, it's like our bodies start recycling, if you understand what I'm saying. I'm also going to say that, because I'm trying to put this in order. I'm going to say, as you are hitting a 5D, your light and your energy becomes more clearer. A lot of energy can be seen around you as well. You then tend to start gravitating light and energy. And I don't mean that you have to go out in the sun and let the sun shine above you or around you and stuff like that. The sun energy is there as a tool for healing, to receive healing from the sun. The sun is a very good healer. But the sun, I'm talking about the aura field, because the aura, the aura is activating your chakras. This is your chakras activating your auric field. And also, your auric field expands when you're working at 5D. So your templates, your grid, your Macabic field, and I call it the Macabic field, is expanded because your DNA has expanded. You're in 12 and above with your DNA strands, but your energy field has expanded. So you don't need to be sitting in the sunlight or in front of a window or anything like that, because someone who's on 5D can see the energy of another person without you sitting in front of a window or sitting in front of the sun or anything like that, because your energy radiates. It radiates outward. So you don't need to be sitting inside in that space. So what you do is you then, your aura and everything expands. Now, as a medium, and I don't know how many of you do mediumship, and also as a healer, we understand that the chakras activate, and we can have different colours, and those different colours are activating our aura, so we can have different colours at any given time. So I know, when we are developing our mediumship, we often do what you call aura readings. So aura readings is something that, okay, I can see a bit of blue around you, but what I want to say is that blue could be the throat chakra activation. But I feel that you need to, communications coming your way, and we read, we can actually read a person based on their auric field. And also, in healing, we can actually pick up stuff that needs more work upon, given by the aura and the chakras. So everything goes about aura, chakras, and so forth, because these are our energy centers. So we're activating a lot from that, and our energy expands. We also are we also can become very crystalline as well. So basically we could be sat there, and all of a sudden the energy around you could be pure white, and we could be emanating certain colours. As you're going higher and you go higher in the dimensions, it changes colour. I work Mahatma, so I do connect up to 12D, and that I have to do that because of the blend I have. Again, I'm blending with Horus, so technically what I've done is I've shifted myself beyond the 5D. That's because I've worked upon my energy field, taking myself out of comfort zones, and yet I'm still learning. I'm still learning areas on the trance side, to deepen blends and stuff like that, because even the trance route, you're doing the trance route and physical mediumship, that is a journey in itself. So then you're working at other frequencies. In mediumship, healing and stuff like that, we are working with a blend of different energies, and those energies can be different. And again, that is a frequency and vibrational shift, and also working at, I would call it like the work of the shaman. So you are transcending through the dimensions, and so forth. So as we're going back into our habits change. We become a little bit more sensitive. I don't know about you, I can be sensitive to light. I'm talking about if like flashes and stuff like that. If somebody was to flash, you can become aware if somebody was flashing the camera at you. You can, because your eyes become sensitive. I'm also going to say this is going into the areas of senses now. Senses. I'm going to say about the senses, your senses heighten when you're in 5D. So you become more clairsentient, more clairvoyant, more clairaudient. I certainly have certain, I know definitely when Horus is around, I'm actually hearing what you call celestial sounds, universal cosmic sounds. So it's not like ringing in the ears. It could be, so I'm hearing that when he's around, but also as my energy and frequency is at a certain level or at a certain peak, I'm actually hearing that. So I do this, you know, I just really wish I had someone that can write music. That's what it's like for me, because I could be probably the next Mozart. That's what it sounds like. Um, so basically, there's that, and I call it a form of light language, because if you're able to sound those frequencies out, it is a form of light language and connecting with language of light. See, I'm going. So I get that all the time, 24/7, 24/7. And I'm also going to say you become more heightened in your senses, clairsentient, clairvoyant, and stuff like that. I'm also going to say, as your senses heighten, your physical senses can become affected. Now, I've had to start wearing glasses. I have been diagnosed. I have been diagnosed with low frequency hearing loss. Yes, low frequency hearing loss. So yes, I can hear, but sometimes go, what? What do you say? Eh? So if you are speaking at a very low pitch, or go, I'm like, sorry, what do you say? So yes, I actually have got hearing aids, but I don't wear them. So I have been diagnosed with low frequency hearing loss. No idea how that's happened. Another thing that's happened to me, certainly as things really went kaboosh with Spirit and Horus back in 2013, I have been diagnosed with a left bundle branch block. That is an irregular electricity pattern on my left hand side of my heart, within the heart muscle itself. I do not have any cardiovascular disease. They've checked my arteries, you name it. There's nothing really that the cardiologist can do other than give me GTN, right? Because it can potentially cause an angina symptom if it ever gets out of bad. So what I've also understood, because of who Horus is, it's often I call it the spear of destiny. Me and Horus has over our lifetimes, I've carried this energy where we've had a heart condition, and it's to do with the left hand side of the heart, and that's where actually they place the spear into Yeshua's heart, onto the left side. Also, Mother Mary has a dagger on the left hand side of her heart ventricle. So there are things, because I'm working in that energy, I'm sitting here, this is interesting, because that has come to my being, my space, as an energetic imprint that I'm carrying in this lifetime. Sometimes we carry, as souls, energetic imprints from past lives. So this is stuff that I have been enlightened, because I know Horus incarnated as Yeshua. This is what I have actually been told. And not only have I been told this, I've been shown it by Spirit. Oh, so I'm like, okay, crap, right. So these are things that can happen. So when we are awakening into a higher frequency, certain other energetic imprints can happen to us at a more physical level. So that, I mean, I've had my kidney out in early days. I've had C-section, and I have had a perfect heart. Something happened to me in 2010, and that was when horror started really showing me past life experiences. Yes, that's the time he started physically manifesting in my life. And then 2013, I found to have that condition because I landed up having a cholecystitis which was my gallbladder, a gallbladder condition, and that's how they found out that I had left bundle branch block. So stuff can happen. Also, when you are working trance as well, there is a lot to do with the electrical currents as well. So I'm blending a lot with Horus in trance blend. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff that can happen, you know, when you're actually having the blend with spirit. So there are things that can activate on a physical level, and that's actually happened to me on a physical level. I'm going to also say there's a lot of releasing that takes place as you are transcending into 5D. You find yourself releasing. So a lot of people on the ascension symptoms will often say, I'm releasing, I'm feeling solar plexus symptoms, I feel very tearful today, and so forth. People become more sensitive to energy at 5D. 5D and above become more aware and sensitive to energy, so they will become more aware of spirit presence. They can see spirit. They can become more aware of presence and stuff like that. They can also I could tell you now. I could tell you that I know when the spirit presence around me is a spirit guide. I can say whether it's a loved one. And I can also say if it's an earthbound or low frequency. So we become more aware, you know, of the energy fluctuations and the energies that are coming into play. And the awareness heightens because that's part of our protection as well. So we, you know, if a low frequency came in, we know we need to deal with it. But we also know how to deal with it at 5D. We know how to cross them over when we're beyond the 5D threshold. We're working with spirit. We know what to do. We become more aware. So I also am going to say that when you're in 5D, you see everything through the eyes of love and through the eyes of beauty. So basically you actually say, you see that everything and everyone and everything around you is energy. That's how you see it. You see that every living soul is an energy. You see that every living soul has a life force. You see that every living being, you know, has a soul. You're more in tune with the frequencies. You're more in tune with the colours, the numbers. You know, creation in itself. You become more aware, you know, the energies of flowers, what the flowers represent, tree energy it represents. What are the trees telling you? You become aware. You also know that there is a grander plan for humanity right now. You understand, you know, often understand that, you know, there are soul plans the plans of souls that come down to the earth. The soul makes their plans. So things become more elevated, actually are more attuned to what your soul plan is about. You know, yes, I'm aware. I feel this is right. So if we are to go and have a reading with a medium, and the medium says, "Well, have you thought about it?" You know, and I feel you know, and you then we go, yes, you know, because you're getting that clarity, because it becomes more, you know, and sometimes you have to have that clarity. You need that empowerment, you know, to. You know, I mean, I certainly have from time to time. We need to have that empowerment. So we need to have that boost. We need to have that boost to move forward. We need a direction. So we also love different sound frequencies. So sound frequencies like Om. You see, I say that quite a lot, which is a sound frequency in itself. So I say that subconsciously. So we also become aware of cosmic shifts. We can feel when the planet is having a change. We become aware of when there are certain planetary shifts that are affecting the planet right now. We become aware of it. We become aware of it. And I'm also going to speak about time. Time when you're in 5D doesn't feel like a time itself. It doesn't feel like a physical time. Often or not, you lose track of time because you go into a timeless reality. It becomes, time feels fluid in 5D, if that makes sense. I want to say it feels like water, you know. So basically, with that, there is no time. I'm also going to say in 5D there is no judgment. There is no judgment or ill feelings on how and why things are done in 5D. And why things are done and how things are done in 5D. There is no judgment on that, because you realise that there is a bigger picture. And we also understand that events are taking place for a wider lesson and learning. So in comparison to 5D, we understand a bigger picture. 3D, with 3D, you find that 3D is a place of judgment, because people at 3D are expressing opinions on events that are taking place and manifesting in the physical reality. 5D, we know that these events are taking place, but we know that there is a wider picture. We know that we can detach ourselves from entering a spectrum of what is deemed at 3D level to be a separation consciousness. So at 3D level, we become aware that, you know, I mean, from 5D we become 3D aspects are manifesting, okay, and we also understand that these lessons at 3D level whether they be institutions, religions, governments, and so forth, they are there to manifest lessons and learning, and we are also aware that there is free will on these planes. So we can therefore exercise our free will if that need be. But where we're in 5D, we know we can detach ourselves from those circumstances and not involve ourselves, because we kind of know that there is a wider plan. We know that there is something about to happen around the corner, in order for things to move forward, because we know that time is fluid. We know that things are going to move forward. So what seems like 2 weeks in the third dimension can seem more like a month in the fifth dimension. So, we kind of lose track. Sometimes we have a memory lapse. I've had memory lapses where I'm supposed to be somewhere, and then I go, oh, I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but it's like, I don't know if it's like a timeline shift, but that's what it can feel like. So there is a lot of stuff happening. And again, unexplained synchronistic experiences, signs, symbols, universal shifts, and so forth. You might have unexplained situations that happen. People may have, as I say, start having contact with other realities, for example. What I'm going to do, because my battery's running out on my phone, because I've got you on my phone. So what I'm going to do quickly is I'm going to plug you in, get my laptop. So, so there's a lot of stuff that happens at 5D. A lot of stuff that happens at 5D. Just try and rest my phone here. Right, okay, let's... Oh, continue. Okay, sorry. Just trying to get this resting. Okay, I'm just going to hold my phone like this. Right, so basically there's a lot of stuff that happens, at 5D that can take us into a different sphere. So signs, synchronicities, number frequencies, you find other realities coming into your sphere. So it could be, UFO sightings that could be taking place as well. UFO sightings, extraterrestrials, spirit presence. I've had stuff that is happening. I had like Omega point come into my being the other day, and again it is about the central point, but again I was getting Omega point. So things are coming into play at 5D. And then we also have
there's a lot of other things. I am going to tell you now that I have, over the recent years, I've had people turn around and say to me, out of the blue, and this includes people whom don't know me personally, who even cross paths with me for the first time. Hello, Elaine. I've had you in my dream state. I dreamt this, and this happened, and you was in my dream, and I felt gravitated to come towards you. So, you know, at first when this was happening to me, I was like, oh, like this. And then I realised, yes, this is my higher self. This is also my spirit guides. As a medium, my spirit guide team will be opening those gateways and avenues of connection. Because, and this has also happened, this has been confirmed in trance, with spirit guides coming through, and they say that your teams are working with you, and as mediums, your teams will be working in the other dimensional frequencies to connect souls together. This is actually what is happening right now. We are coming together. You know, I know people come my way because I'm a medium, but I'm also being gravitated because of past life connections and soul connections and stuff like that. So yes, I've had different stories come my way where people have come, oh, I've had you in my dream. At first it was like, okay, like this, because your human perception to it is like, oh my gosh, okay. But on the 5D level, you then understand that there is a wider meaning because our souls planned it. Our souls planned the connection, our souls plan the union. Our spirit guides manifest that connection. Everything is orchestrated. Everything is orchestrated. So there is a lot of things that are happening. I'm also want to say that we become more aware that we are multidimensional beings. We become more aware that we're multidimensional. We become more aware of the time and space reality, and also the timeless reality. We become more aware of our multidimensional aspects. So we then are able to connect with other realities. We can connect if we become aware of our higher presence, where our higher presence could be in that time frame. So we can become aware of parallel realities. We can become aware of other worlds and dimensions. And we are able also to bring in ancient philosophy and ancient teaching into this now. We're able to bring that energy into this now. The ancient philosophy, the ancient wisdom, the knowledge, and so forth. There's a lot that we can do at a higher frequency. When I say 5D, I'm going to say 5D and above, because this is 5D and above. Because there is no limits to how far we can go in the dimensional frequency. I'm also going to say at 5D, you're able to deliver loved ones, connect with loved ones in spirit, and say I have your Aunt Sally with me today, and she wants to say that she's all well and you know, she's no longer suffering on the other side. And Aunt Sally comes in. She's wearing, you know, she's very smart. She's wearing a, you know, a beautiful dress. You know, in life she did this and this. In life she felt politically orientated to this, and she liked doing bingo in life and stuff like that. So those situations can happen at 5D as well. Bringing loved ones and connecting loved ones in spirit, bringing through the evidence that there is no death, only life eternal. We become more aware. We become more aware. So there is a polarity taking place at this time, a very strong polarity. So my advice to you all is to focus upon the 5D aspects. How can one elevate themselves to 5D? A lot of people do ask me this. Well, first and foremost, elevation to 5D takes work upon your part. It took work upon my part too. So what do? We have to make the conscious change. We have to make that conscious change. We have to make the conscious commitment and say, right, no, we want to better our outcomes. We need to connect with positive vibes. We need to connect with love and the heart chakra. And what does the heart chakra represent for us? The qualities. So that could be love, compassion, faith, hope, trust, kindness, and so forth. All these elements, these divine elements, wisdom, knowledge, and so forth. We then manifest that and we work upon that within our lives. Forgiveness is a key word that comes into play when we're at 5D, and as we're approaching in 5D. Even at 5D, we're still working on forgiveness. But we also have situations in our everyday lives that we can forgive, and we can forgive. But there are situations that the other party we can't have contact with. So, for example, if anyone has been abused by someone and they can't make a physical connection to that person, to that abuser that's inflicted that pain upon their lifetime, you can make a conscious decision to send the intention of forgiveness out to that soul, okay? And that does not mean that you have to physically connect with them. You just set that intention. And by setting that intention of forgiveness, you are forgiving yourself and you're forgiving that other person. And it is about yourself at the end of the day, because if you set the intention of forgiveness for that situation, you then become released from that situation. You start that process of healing, because we've all had situations in this lifetime and many other lifetimes, you know, where we've had an experience negative situations. So we have to release those negative situations, because that's no longer serving our higher good. So I'm coming from that space of love. I'm going to say I forgive you, because, you know, that's no longer serving my higher good to hold that grudge. So, you know, that's something that comes through very strongly upon shifting into 5D, is forgiveness. And it always has to start from ourselves. We have to love ourselves unconditionally. We have to forgive ourselves unconditionally. We have to know that we are here purely, to learn our lessons. But through learning our lessons, we can also help other people in those lessons. Certainly, if we've had abuse in our past, or homelessness, or real critical situations that we've experienced, we can then turn that around and help other people that have been through that experience. Can you just imagine what that must feel like? This is what the karmic, how we can use the karmic plan to our advantage. Because we are saying, right, hello karma, you've given that lesson, but now we're going to help that other person that's going through that lesson, so that person can heal. And that person can get through the other side and see the light at the ends of the tunnel, because this is what light work is about. We are here as light workers. We're here to help each other to grow, to come through different situations and circumstances in love, faith and hope. And I'm going to say, not in fear and not in judgment. This is something that's happening widely at the moment, fear and judgment. And this is what happens when there is what they deem a crisis, and I do not like using the word crisis. I use it a challenge. Okay, so that can also kick a polarity field, and it is a testing of hearts right now. That's why there is a polarity field. So, people who are in the space of judgment, people who are in the space of fear, will only cast judgment upon the other. And I am going to say to you, and I'm going to say to you all, right, if somebody turns around and tells you that you're not awakened because you don't believe in their 3D opinions, just brush that to one side, because it's happening a lot right now. People who claim to be New Age awakened are casting judgment upon other people. And they're actually saying that you're not awakened. It's happened to me loads of times over recent weeks. People telling me that I'm not awakened, I'm not this, I'm not that, because I'm not following the political affiliation that they're following, or the opinions that they are holding. Because I know there is a wider perspective. So, and I've actually seen this happen to a fellow light worker, also a couple of nights ago. He's a beautiful, beautiful soul. I've seen that happen as well. He experienced it. And yet, he's a wonderful, wonderful light worker. There is that. There are also out there, what I've also come across are teachers that are feeding into the political systems, that are also gravitating the pandemic, the energy, they're putting a lot of energy into the political systems, the pandemic itself, and creating again an energy that is not what we are supposed to be doing. We're not supposed to be feeding energy, a negative distortion of energy. We're supposed to be lifting out of that energy. We're not supposed to be feeding into governments, institutions, or even a religious setting. If we turn around and started saying, if we had ascension teachers started saying, oh, by the way, the Islam is okay, the jihad is okay, and so forth, we'd all be like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? Because that's 3D. Situations like that, anything that's going to cause a divide, anything that's going to cause a separation, or anything like that is not 5D. Okay, anything like that. Any opinions that are based upon the 3D are opinions of the 3D. Okay, they're not 5D opinions. Opinions do not exist. You know, I mean, we're far more elevated in 5D. So our opinions of 5D will be, well, what did your soul plan actually, you know, your soul has actually planned to experience this in this lifetime. You understand what I'm saying? This is 5D. 5D will also say that all leaders have been called. They've signed their soul contracts. They've also signed a special contract at Karmic Board, because the karma and the karmic distribution that they have, the karmic responsibility that they have, is greater. That the souls that are leading the countries right now, and this has been happening right throughout the whole of this history of this planet, they sign a special agreement, a karmic agreement. So basically, they have a responsibility for the countries. They have a responsibility for the souls that are in occupation in the countries. And yes, they're not going to be judged when they go upstairs, but they will say, well, what did you do? What did you learn? What lessons did you learn? Could you have done that differently? That could have taken the country through in a different way. So basically, they have different, you know, they have signed a bigger contract than a normal Joe Bloggs. And technically, this is all about soul evolution. So yes, these leaders, whoever they are, whatever political party that they are, whether it be you know, Tony Blair or Boris Johnson, and I'm going to say their opposition on the political parties, or you know, Barack Obama or Donald Trump, you know, their opposition on the political parties. So technically, every single one of them have a special agreement, and they are there to evolve as souls and to participate on their own personal soul evolution, including those whom are in churches, leaders of faiths, and so forth, royal families. They are also participating on a soul evolution. So technically, this is what it's about. I've had past life where I've been royalty. And that also gives me an understanding that these souls are definitely have had, you know, these special contracts, because they have a greater responsibility. Another aspect is people who are doing humanitarian work, acting widely as humanitarians. You know, I'm seeing a lot of humanitarians, I'm seeing a lot of light workers being attacked by people within New Age communities. And again, this is 3D. This is where the polarity field is actually happening at this time. And I thought I'd come live. There are also, I've had an experience even a couple of weeks ago, I'll say about 3 weeks ago. I'm going to say that there is also a situation within New Age where people are astral projecting, and they are trying to, what they do is they invite themselves into spaces. They invite themselves into spaces not planned. This is another thing in astral projection. I've had this situation 3 weeks ago, and I've you know, a lot of, you know, I do sometimes have it from time to time, where people are astral projecting, and I knew who this person could have been. I knew who this person could have been because this person messaged me over and wanted to do a remote. And I said, if you want to do, the only time I do remote is if you are booking a session with me for healing and readings. That's the only time that I connect with your energy. I don't connect with your energy, you know, outside sessions, because that's not how I work. This is not how we work at 5D. We don't invite ourselves in. So I've actually told him that he needs to book a session. I then all of a sudden got a flag up by Horus that I needed to delete him, and I have never ever had a situation where Horus has actually said you are not to connect with him. He actually told me not to connect with him, so I deleted and blocked him, and I then sat, and funnily enough, I had another medium with me, was on video link, and she often sees Horus behind me, and this is interesting because I'll have an awful lot of high energy behind me. All of a sudden you could see an energy come in. I actually felt the energy come through, and you could see a lot of movement going on, and it was a darker force energy, and you can actually see what was going on, and you can actually see Horus dealing with it. And this was an astral energy. We both picked it up. I'm also been made aware it has happened with other people as well, because people have told me they've experienced this. So I'm going to say that is again a 4D because it's astral. Astral is not 5D. Okay, so things that are happening at astral, you know, again, it's a concept of 3D, wanting to astral project, wanting to have a sense of power, and so forth. So if this has happened to you, this is not 5D, okay? This is something that shouldn't be happening at 5D, okay? Because we are here to respect each other's space. And Horus doesn't take too kindly to uninvited visitors. That's something Horus doesn't do. I've actually picked this up. I see a lot of people sharing experiences about this on social media, and I've also had people come to me saying, Elaine, this has happened to me. I'm not sure about this person. This person, you know, has come and invaded my space. So I'm going to say that is an abuse of energy. Okay, it is an abuse of energy. It's also something that we shouldn't be doing. As healers, as mediums, we work in authenticity. And certainly at 5D, we work in authenticity. So, you know, be mindful. There is a lot of energy out there. Also at 5D, when we're releasing ourselves, for example, releasing ourselves and releasing habits, we don't, you know, things that is going to lower our frequency, we actually feel that ourselves. We know if things are going to affect us. It can affect our energies very greatly, certain situations and frequencies. So that's another aspect of 5D. So I'm just having a quick look if there's anything here, because I've got some notes here. There's another thing that that's come through from council recently, that, you know, we are on the earth plane. We're in a physical reality. So we can be experiencing what we call 3D. 3D, so a reality for us is 3D. So 3D, we're here 3D, so if we go to work, or we go into the shops, we're interacting with people on the streets, this is physical reality. So how do we bring this energy in? How do we connect to 5D? We bring that energy into our reality. We bring it into our reality. We're not leaving the physical. If you understand where I'm coming from, it's a connection that we have. So we're in a reality. So in our reality, we're in, so basically the planet as a whole, I say the planet as a whole, the actual planet and the structure, the trees, the plants, you name it, the life force, it's 5D. The actual planet itself, the grids and everything, we've taken that to 5D level. We're also taking it above a threshold. Certain portals were taken up to a certain threshold because there are certain frequencies coming in from the cosmos. The actual planet structure itself is at that level. Then you have humanity that are at varying degrees of their evolutionary process. So basically, the 5D space, so this is a way of life that we choose it to be. So we could be 5D in a 3D surroundings. So a lot of people will say, oh, I'm working at this space, but my family are lower frequency to me. I've also seen posts that have gone to the extremes that because they're 5D. I'm 5D, but my family are reptilian. And I'm like, whoa! If you were 5D, you would not be saying your family are reptilian. That's a little bit harsh. Okay, so again, statements that are coming out like that. When you're at 5D, yes, you understand that people are at different levels and you accommodate those people because you understand that those people are still gravitating through their lessons. So, there are little things I want to, sort of bring to the pot here because we're here to be living together. We're here to work together, to harmonize together, and it's learning how to harmonize in a world that people will have different expectations and realities and so forth. So that's another element that that can become a challenge for us when we're at 5D because they're not obviously working at our space, and this is probably also causing a polarity field that we are experiencing at this time, even in the New Age community, that we're experiencing this space. So that's another thought that I would like to bring to the fold. So there's a lot coming in, from the 5D, from that 5D remit. I think I've said an awful lot on the topic, so I'm going to bring it to a close now. I want to finally close by sending healing intentions out to all those whom are in need of healing at this time. I want to send healing out to those whom are ill and frail, who are in hospital, who are in care homes, whom have no one to care for them. Special mention to those whom are experiencing the pandemic at this time in any degree, in any varying degree, whether it be direct, whether it be, during the lockdown, having experiences, emotional difficulties and so forth. For those whom have lost loved ones, and those whom are preparing a transition. I also want to send healing to those who are homeless, to those whom have emotional and mental difficulties, to children whom have no families, to those whom are living poverty, to those whom are homeless, to those whom are experiencing natural disasters and conflict. Setting into intentions to bring forth love, harmony and unity to the Earth Mother. So it is done. I'm going to say good night. God bless you all. Stay strong in there. Be empowered. Empowerment now is a key word coming in from Spirit. Be empowered and be the best that you can be. God bless you all.